Okay, not to cut your story short, but I really want us to go back to this music thing because Kwame, there's a Kwame story.
I know. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Man, sorry.
No. It's part of the story.
So I think I was trying to explain how I never got a chance to work with him.
That last time.
Yeah, because it was the first time back. So the second time back I came. But so when I went back, we exchanged ideas. I think he did Holela around that time. And I did a remix. I did 2 remixes for Holela. And
that was the first remix of Kwame songs you were doing?
Yes. That was the first remix I ever was able to do of his. And the guy who produced the Holela song, he's called Mark. Oh, why am I forgetting it? Okay, his name is Mark. He's from the UK. I did an R&B version, and then I did one more with like an African feel. So the guy who did the original song liked the R&B one, and Kwame liked
the African
version one. So I just put them on SoundCloud. And I think when I did that, also Kwame was like, man, yeah, I want to work with you.
Okay.
He was sure now he wanted to work with me.
Decide to enjoy sex ni kama sali mshora chakuli atini ajali kiolela holela unangamia msichana usiogope sema pana tulize kwa siku tapata bwana kaka mfunge umbwa kali akibweka siku sema ni lazima ume hawikizidi sana na shauri anatumia kinga kiolela unangamia. Hold on your panty. Hold on. Ooh, sister. Zip up, brother. Zip up. Hold on your panty. Hold on, sister. Zip up, brother. Ooh, unangamia. Just look around you, see how it's being done. If you gotta do it, please do it safe. Sio kiholela. Tembelea hospitali nadhani utaiona hali. Na kusihi sio utani. Ngono kiholela ni kifo. Chovya ovyo futine chini. Unaangamia. Kiholela unaangamia. Hold on your panty.
But in 2012 we met, we just talked. You know, like I was like, I invited him. There was a little get together at home. He came, you know, we talked. He met my friend Chris, and that because Chris is gonna later on, like you're gonna understand how Chris is important to everything that I do. So he met Chris, and you know they clicked. So I was like, okay, good. I go back, and now we start, you know, planning what we're gonna do next. So while he's there, I think there was a campaign. There was something called a Ndovu campaign or something like that.
Yep.
We were supposed to do a song for it with another producer, and they sent me the whatever they had, the chord progressions and everything. And to me, I've never been the one to force something, especially musically. If it's not there, it's not the same. I was like, I don't know about this. It's not like I tried to make it to a point where like I could, you know, build around it, and I couldn't. But what happened is the idea that Kwame, I think, had recorded on it, I built around that something out of that. Yeah. And I never told him. So I just sent him the track, and I didn't tell him how I built it. So I was like, oh yeah, there's this other track, and I sent him. And the moment he got it, he's like, hey, well, hold on. No, I'm even jumping stories. Sorry.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but maybe you'll. I don't know. So that's a song that ended up being Malkia.
I liked Malkia.
Yeah.
I loved. So wait, the song now that you built around this thing.
Yes.
Dude, why have you that? But that wasn't that next.
No, actually, I just remember that was after. What happened here? Hey, my timeline is off, and I was telling myself, make sure your timeline is correct. Make sure.
So good.
So what happened? No, I came back in 2014. I came back in 2013. My dad ran for MP. Came, we supported him. No, he came in second.
Okay.
And we supported him, spent a week. That's the shortest I've ever been in Kenya. It was like 9 days. Then we went back. Then came back again. 2014, the next year. So in 2014, that's when Kwame had just recorded Mapenzi Yako. And at this time, he worked with a producer called MG. So I had that.
But of all this time, you're still talking with Kwame?
Yeah.
Okay.
We've been talking like since 2010 or 2011. And but now we are working. At this stage is like we've already put our heads down. It's like we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. So and also at that time, there's a guy who was in Germany called Kenyan. So he reached out to me and we were talking, and then he introduced me to a producer here in Kenya called Provoke.
Kevin Provoke.
Yeah, Kevin Provoke. So Provoke, we met in 2012. Worked on a little bit of stuff, and that's when I met. That's now with Provoke is when I started meeting, different people in the industry. And I always say, I give him credit because he really introduced me to a lot of people. And that's when I met Ecstatic.
Oh, nice.
I met Nessa. I met Della. I met French Boy. I met, was it Swale? The historians. French Boy and I met a lot of people.
Dude, so
I met Saint Ivo. I met Jack Rooster.
Hey, dude.
Yeah, they were all coming through his studio.
So you'd go. Okay, so this is important to know because it's difficult as a diasporan in whatever market.
Yeah.
To get a footing in Kenya without
knowing someone.
Yeah, without knowing somebody.
Yes.
So for you, Provoke was a door opener.
Yes. And if it wasn't for Kenyan, I wouldn't have started talking to Provoke.
I get it.
So he connected us.
Yep.
And now when I came, Provoke now kind of put me into a footing into the industry.
And you said you worked with him on stuff. What did you work on?
So we worked on we recorded some stuff. I don't know, did we release anything? And I sent him some music, from my music I was doing, some of my music, and also Festus. So I don't know if they recorded. I can't remember if he recorded anything at that point. But when I came back, the next time, that's when, because in 2012, I actually came for a longer period. Yeah. I stayed for 3 months.
Yo, okay.
Yeah, and at this time, actually, at the same time, I went to, I was here for a couple of weeks, then went to SA for like 2 weeks or a week, then came back. Yeah. So I was able to compare the markets. Nice. And see what's going on in SA in terms of radio and everything, and what's going on in Kenya. And it's night and day. You've been there. You went to school there. I mean, in SA, like, you don't hear anything else. Yeah, just their own. Just their own. But here it was the opposite. You don't hear a lot of, or if you do, it's like either the old stuff. Yep. Or but nothing really, really new unless you know who's happening. Yeah. The share play that the Kenyan local songs get, or Kenyan songs get on the market is very low. It's minimal. Yeah. And like And that's why I like the the BN interview, because he said, if you do 40%, have you passed? Like
Yep.
that one was, I was like, okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So, but being with someone who's in the industry and who's working really hard in the industry, he had a whole lot of music that he was working on, and I'm like, why isn't this on radio? Why isn't this on radio? Remember, I'm coming from the diaspora, so I'm hungry to hear all this Kenyan music, but I don't understand why it's not on the radio here. Why are you playing stuff that's radio over there? It's taken me a while to connect us to why it happens like that, but
it's the politics of the industry.
yes.
Okay, let me ask you this question. At this stage, somebody can think that your full-time job is music,
Yeah.
but you've not.
Not yet.
You've not left.
No.
But that is, it's. Are you at that point of leaving? First of all, are you making revenue from your music?
Not that much.
Nothing to quit.
No.
Work about.
No.
Okay.
And I wasn't I think I was more focused on building my name.
Okay.
Yeah, more than anything else, because without a name, nothing.
And then my question is, what's the scene like? What's the diaspora Kenya music scene like?
Bubbling.
So there's, okay, tell me. I'm not asking now. I'm asking at this time.
Yeah.
Oh, it's bubbling, eh?
Oh yeah. Actually, the diaspora scene has actually gone down lately. Back then, there were so many artists, and I think what's happened is, as we were talking about, the artists have grown. We were in our 20s in the early 2000s. Now it's in the 2010s and whatever. You hit your 30s.
Yeah, but they are young guys. There's always, in fact, there are more 20-year-olds now than they are.
There's a period that a lot of Kenyans went in the 90s.
Oh.
A huge population left of young guys, and that was a period they were out of high school and in their 20s. So there were studios, and there were people who were performing. And one of the guys that I ended up working with years later was on the come up then. His name is called Sasabasi, but they were part of a bigger group. And they were called, I don't know what they used to call themselves, but they had a song called Piga Picha. So it was Viber, who, rest in peace. He passed away a couple, was it last year? And then there was Sasabasi, there was Vintikizi, and then there was Sasabasi's Vintikizi, I'm sorry. Then there was KTZ, and now their producer was called Chava. So his studio was called, or his tag name was called Jointia Chava. That's what his tag on his songs. And I remember seeing Red Sun in his studio because they posted a clip, and I was on Facebook. Kitambo.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, these guys are working. I'm trying to look for opportunities, but he was in New Jersey, I was in Maryland. It wasn't far, but it comes back to those whole things of being, do I want to go up there?
Yeah.
Taking chances and stuff like that. And back then I wasn't really keen on that because I had a job. So I'm just watching what they're doing. But I'm still making a name for myself, because as soon as they put their three-piece, I'm remixing their songs
and sending it to them.
Yeah, make sure I tag them.
Okay.
You have to tag everyone.
Yep.
So they are working.
Are there any other?
Yeah, there are many. There's groups in different. There's the groups in the East Coast, the West Coast, the South, and the Midwest.
And at this time, you are not working with any of them per se. So, Mike, okay, let me ask you this question: why? Apart from maybe Wawesh, why do you think that the musicians within the diaspora have not blown here? Even Bamboo, when he went, he disappeared.
I don't know.
No, be real. You don't know.
Do we even value our own? That's the question. Because I feel like that's what it comes down to. Like, do we, or we just see them as like, let me say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you as a producer, do you feel like you're accepted back home?
Here?
At that time, yeah.
Then?
Even now?
Now I feel like I am.
Yeah.
A little bit. But like people still don't know who I am.
Yeah.
So,
don't worry, your work will speak for you. And you
yes, okay, when they talk about the work that I've done lately, yes, and still like some people don't know.
Yeah. But also you hide, you're hidden.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like, I always say, regardless of me making music for, sale or for myself, I'm still going to do music.
Yeah.
Because music is really part of who I am.
Okay.
I always say I can't detach music from myself.
And the more we talk about your catalog, I think people will begin to identify, that song that I like, I think I didn't know he's produced it. Okay, that's even why I was sort of asking about the Kwame thing.
Yeah. So, the Kwame thing now, 2014. So 2012, Provoke really introduced me to a lot of people. And by the time I'm coming back in 2014, now he's like, he was like, hey, now let's work. And at this time, he's working with Wangeshi.
Oh, nice.
And I come in and the plan was to do, he was working on her project. And I come in and then me and Kwame have decided, he needs a project out. Because at this time he just has singles. Singles. I was like, we need to put a body of work together that people can really enjoy. So I came with how many tracks? I came with 2 tracks. The music was complete and they had hooks. Remember I told you I used to sing. So I had written hooks for them. And I sang the hooks for him and he finished the rest, just like that. But then we were working. So
did he rechange the hooks?
No.
He actually kept
the way they were, because he said, okay. Because that's what really inspired him to finish the rest of the song.
And what song is that?
It's Oka 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 and Kiradimo.
Muthenya nĩ ũyũ rũire ndarĩrĩirie ona nguo iraire rungu rũrĩrĩ itikae kũgonyara kĩmũbuto kĩa mborobotomu cati yakwa ya mĩkarara igoti rĩrĩ na mĩkato ndaheirwo nĩ baba ũmenye mũthenya ũyũ nĩ mũnene kũina kaba mũnyire ũmũthĩ nĩ mũthenya mũnene tukenanire nĩ ũhiki mwega ma nĩ mũthenya wa gĩkeno keitũine kairĩtu gaka gathaka mũthenya ũyũ nĩ waku kairĩtu gaka gathaka narĩa mũĩthirie no matũire na gĩkeno wendo nĩ kũrekanĩra kũmanĩrĩria na kũhoyanĩra kũina kaba mũnyire ũmũthĩ nĩ mũthenya mũnene kei tũkenanĩre nĩ ũhiki mwega ma nĩ mũthenya wa gĩkeno keitũine kairĩtu gaka gathaka mũthenya ũyũ nĩ waku kairĩtu gaka gathaka mũthenya ũyũ nĩ waku.
So at this time,
and both of them were hooks and cute.
Yeah. Do you know one of the things? Okay, so as I told you, I spent a lot of time with Kwame. In fact, for a moment, I mentored him. But maybe about a year, we did a few tours together, even went to TZ, came back, did a few acoustic live recordings, and then sort of did what I've done what I could do. Get out of the eagle's nest and fly.
Yeah.
So the next time I'm seeing Kwame, he's no longer this R&B artist. He's this full Kikuyu artist in the full attire, and I'm like, Kwame.
That's years later. That's like I think that was 3 years later.
I left Kwame at Holela, and maybe the Malkia is the last time I had him.
Malkia. Yeah.
Malkia, yeah.
So Malkia was around Holela. I think was around 2012, 2013, or 2012. I'll check.
Yeah.
But Malkia and Mapenzi Yako and all that was 2014.
Yeah.
So Mapenzi Yako was already done, and I had it and I was like, man, this is nice. So I asked him, and he said, oh yeah, he worked with a guy called a producer called MG, but the guy. So I started asking questions. Remember, I like about finding out about credits. So I asked him who played the guitar, and he tells me it's a guy called Gashago. I go search for Gashago, and I listened to a song that he's done. It's called Niwewe too. I'm like, yes, he's the one, and that's a beautiful song.
Yeah,
like it's one of those beautiful like songs, wedding songs, however you want to call it, love songs, but it's a beautiful song. Then I hear vocals that are not his, and I ask him, who's that? He tells me the guy's name is Dempsey Omwega. So I go and look up. I'm like, man. In my head, I'm like, why is this? There's so much amazing talented folks here. Talent. Like me, I'm listening. I'm like, now I forget even, like I've never tried to work with non-Kenyans. Like I've never really gone after it. All these years I've been in the US, because once I started realizing how much, and this goes back to 2012. Okay, Kwame. It goes back to Kwame.
Yes. Hearing
him. Then 2012, Provoke plays me a host of music, including Kina Wendy Kimani.
Yeah.
And I'm like, goodness. Oh yeah. In 2012, what I did a remix for Wendy Kimani's song Rumor. That's another song that got played on radio.
Oh, nice.
And now I come back again. He's working with Wangeshi. So, and then at the same time, we decide to work with Kwame. So Kwame has Mapenzi Yako, but nothing else after that. So we're in the studio one day, and we were making a track so that we could feature. So at this time, I'm almost like my wife is pregnant. And I realized I haven't talked about my wife.
Yeah, don't worry, we're coming
Shout
there.
out, Shiro. I love you.
So we're coming there. It's a whole chapter on its own.
It's a whole chapter. Yeah. So my wife is pregnant and expecting, and Kwame already has a boy. So we are grappling with things of fatherhood. And now that's where now we start changing our outlook with music. You start realizing your consumer base is not going to be, now you're a father. What you're going to talk about is going to matter. So we were planning to do a song about fathers. And the most interesting thing is like I still have the track with the hook on it.
Yeah.
But nothing else. And man, when I tell you that is one of the best hooks that's just sitting there. And I was talking to Kwame and I was like, we need to finish this song. He's like, oh yes. Because it's like, we will never stop being fathers. You know, now we are fathers. Not to one, but to
a couple.
To a couple. So we shelved that one, then we started on another one, and we were about to delete the beat. And I was like, I said, just leave the beat and let me see what I'll come up with. I start playing chords, and Provoke and Kwame were outside. So I think Provoke was talking to someone, Kwame was in the balcony. But this whole time he's listening, but he's just doing his own thing. I finished the song because the drums were already set. So I arranged the song, and within like 30 minutes, I was done with pretty much what was the foundation of the song. And Kwame comes in. He's like, hey, okay, that's nice. He's like, turn on the mic. I'm like, what? Let's turn on the mic. Hey, okay. We Provoke, hooks up everything and turns on the mic. And this guy starts rapping in Kikuyu. And then as he goes on, I hear him saying, Ythera. I'm like, so the whole time he was rapping me, I was laughing because I couldn't understand what he was saying. I was like, man. And it clicked to me, this guy shouldn't be doing anything else other than this. Because when we were done with the song, like everybody in the studio was like, yes. And they couldn't understand what he was saying. Because it was in Kyuk.
Yep.
But the vibe of the song, how he presented it,
was
and
right.
The whole song was a freestyle. He did not write anything down.
No way.
No, he doesn't write stuff. I thought it was a one-time thing until he did it again. I was like, okay, this is how this guy does it. He doesn't write anything down. He goes over there, he's just listening. He's like, he'll record it, and then if he wants to do revisions, he'll go do revisions. But if he doesn't, that one we didn't do any revisions.
And that became what song?
Ythera.
Yes. Kuma ndakunire gicagi gwa ngoro wega ngiuga ngukurumirira nginya kuri uguthie ngiona watonya gacira kari na nduma ngikurumirira makiruma gaciara ni wagenirie aro Ythera mende yakwa oy jetekera magode bataranya murengati tunyitane tato eberane tiene wedo Ythera mende yakwa jete kindiango wedo Ythera mende yakwa jete kindiango wedo Jera tu todo niene wagania no nyate gotare kuri asiali yako tunara ne nyate ojenera mami Ythera mende yako oy jete kera magode oy tu kometa doge bataranya murengati tunyitane tato eberane tiene wedo Ythera mende yakwa.
Hey, and now that, so now do you continue working on that?
So what happened?
Because that was a big one.
Yeah, Provoke liked it. And now, remember, Provoke has been introduced me to a lot of people.
Yeah.
At this time, who is in the studio? Zakadel.
Mm-hmm.
You know Zakadel?
Yes.
One of the best visual artists. Like,
he's the one who does a lot of Wangeshis.
He back then, but
yeah,
now he's the one who's doing a lot of Blinky Bill stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So he's the one who does all my artwork most of the times. Like 99% of the times, he's the one who does my artwork.
Uh-huh.
And like the visual presentation of what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Because I like handing over work to people, and just because I like what you're doing, I don't interfere.
Yep.
I give it to you. I'm like, this is what he'll ask me for the
vision.
music. Yeah, he'll ask me for the music. He'll ask me what the music is talking about, and he's like, okay. And then he always comes with stuff, and I'm like, wow, I didn't think of that, but that's good. So they made artwork for the song, posted it on SoundCloud. Next thing I know, it's being played on Homeboys.
Yeah.
Patricia Kihoro. Now that song goes. But we never even shot a video for it. It's just those ones that just... So I told Kwame, okay, let's finish up 2 more songs.
But now you've told him go this Kikuyu direction.
Yeah.
So the Oka.
But now even he doesn't even have a choice, because the other 2 songs
yes,
I have, the hooks are in Kikuyu.
Yep.
So I sing to him in my broken Kikuyu over there. He's just laughing. He's like, oh, but I like the idea. He finishes the song. So Oka was produced by Festus, because the beat was already there. You know, like it's a very, because it has this, you know, like old Kikuyu vibe, like the, so it had that, and that's why the you know, in my head the hook had to be in Kikuyu.
Yep.
And then I was like, it would be a nice song to sing to a girl, you know, like a wedding song. And he recorded it, and I think the reason why a lot of people don't know about this EP is because we were learning about, you know, we were on the go learning. I was learning the Kenyan market, and he was also learning how I work and the new direction that we're taking. And
you were building this new direction, this new Kwame.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the only...
In fact, he didn't even go by the name Kwame anymore.
Kwame Rigii. He went now and got back his name.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because because you know, like, I remember telling him, man, I guess being in the diaspora, you listen to a lot of music in English. And I'm like, why are you trying? Like, there's nothing, well, unique. At least to me, there's nothing special about, you know, that.
It's true.
But whenever you sing in Kikuyu, like, I was like, look, I'm one of those guys that's still learning Kikuyu, and I learn Kikuyu from your music. And the music underneath it is what can bridge you to the urban spaces. But what you're talking about is playing, you know, is in Kikuyu. And people, it's kind of like the way you say, you know, you give somebody something so that they can make it easier to swallow something else.
Yeah.
So it's the same way.
Powerful.
Yeah. So I was like, you know what? I think this is a direction you should take. He was unsure a little bit, because like, why? I like singing in English and Swahili. I told him, no, in Swahili, I don't have a problem, because that one, he's got it on lock. Like, he's good.
Yep.
No, but I was like, man, English, just leave it alone. It's like, really? I was like, yeah, just leave that one alone. Because I was telling him, even me, I hate singing in English. You know, like, I'll lay down an idea in English, but I'd rather Swahili or Kikuyu.
Yep.
Yeah. And so, you know, the next 2 songs are in Kikuyu. So, Mapenzi Yako the first verse was in Swahili. The chorus was in Swahili. The second verse was in Kikuyu. And I always used to tell them, you know, I skipped the first verse, and I always go to the second one.
Yeah.
Because there's a way he sings in Kikuyu. He doesn't have that Kafani accent.
He's not trying.
He doesn't have that.
Yeah.
There's a way, like, you know, there's a Kaweng, there's a Kikuyu weng that's there. I'm like, whoa. He doesn't have that. His is like straight up. Just the way, like, you know, you would hear my, you know, older folks having a conversation. That's how he sounds in his music. And that's why I think he also resonates with a lot of people of different generations.
Yep.
Those who want to learn, those already his age, you know, his peers, and then the older generation. So we record the 2 songs, I put the EP together, and we put it out. And we got good reception. But I learned about now being prepared about, you know, to really like market, rebranding and everything.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I'm watching what Zach and Provoke are doing with Wangeshi. You know, images, you know, like just giving people sound bites or little snippets of this. And and you know, they were also working with another artist. Oh yeah, there's a diaspora artist that's still doing music, but she hasn't put out anything in a while. Her name is called Mumbi. So at this time she was also working with Provoke.
Yeah, all right. So this, I've got to ask this question. So as a diaspora who was trying to penetrate into your sector, and your sector being music, did you feel the importance of coming home on a work assignment?
Oh, yes. But
as compared to just doing this over the internet? Because you could have done it over the internet.
Yeah, but it's not the same. Like, would you rather I do this on a Zoom call?
No, I mean, I don't even do this.
Yeah, because I remember you mentioning that like, it's the same feeling.
I'm going to come to States and whatever the Kenyans are across the world.
It's the same feeling. Especially now, even with Kwame, it's reached a point, it's like, you know me, I can't record any song with you if you're not here. Because we exchange ideas.
Yep.
And we build from scratch. We might come into the studio, we have no idea what we're going to do. And we might end up living with 2 songs. Or we might end up living with a conversation. I'm okay with that. Like literally, like sometimes we go to the studio and we just today is not working. And then we just sit there and we talk. But
also what I'm hearing you say, just because you've come, your networks has expanded.
Yes.
I mean, you and Provoke now, you've talked about your designer, you've talked about meeting all these different people.
Oh man, yes. So I'm meeting different people. You know, I'm meeting directors. I'm meeting DJs. For Kenya now is starting to go into different genres, like people doing different genres. I remember I was making a song for Nessa, and as I was, I was working on a bridge, and Jack Rooster walks in. He's like, "Oh man, this would make a very nice house beat." So me in my head is like, "Okay, yeah, but I'm not thinking house. I'm, like house, Afro house. I'm not thinking about that. I'm just thinking about, because now I'm in my Zouk element, and I have skipped again. I'm sorry.
Yeah, bro.
But we'll come back, because there's someone that was very integral within that period while I was not working with Kenyans. So I'm working on this song. It's Zouk, and I'll tie it into how it started. So I'm working on Zouk because I had started working with a guy called Keisha in 2009.